Hey, welcome to Dollar Views. I'm Brian Gillis.
And I'm Stephen Montmanex.
We're just two Long Beach State film grads with a lifelong passion for cinema trying to put our money where our mouths are.
And we decided to make our BAs mean something by giving our 2 cents on the weekly film releases.
Whether it's the cute romantic comedy,
Or the latest cult classics,
from the little-known indies and docs,
to the latest Michael Bay masterpiece.
we go over it all, $1 at a time.
I got a little treat for y'all tonight. We're gonna see if he's still got some magic in that mic.
Tomorrow, start the pilgrimage to Myrtle Beach for the convention.
I wish we had known you guys back in our day.
Well, I'd say it's still your day, man.
Thursday night, right? Second day that this movie was in theaters.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting it to be pretty packed. Okay. I mean, I didn't see the first one, but every theater experience that I heard of described for it, it's about what, like 90% women in there, and they're just screaming and cheering during all the dancing scenes and whatnot.
That depends on the theater. When I saw the first one, it was probably like 40% gay, 50% women, and then couples.
There was a decent rowdy crowd that was into it, right?
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. So I go at night. I'm expecting it to be. It's Thursday. The movie came out on Wednesday. It's not going to be packed like on the weekend, but should be a fair amount of people in there, right?
I'm guessing it was empty though.
It was empty.
Yeah, well, that's
nobody.
It was a Thursday night for a holiday weekend on a pretty slow box office weekend. I mean,
So I didn't get the best experience for this one.
yeah, you definitely didn't. I mean, I went 11 a.m. Friday. It was actually a pretty good theater. So like I had a lady sitting next to me. And so she was laughing a lot of stuff that I was laughing. I was happy because at first she walked in pretty late to the showing. Right when I found out that she was laughing at things I was laughing at, I was like, oh, okay, there you go.
All right. Well, at least you were laughing.
For some backstory, the reason why this episode is delayed, we could have done Thursday. My car was stolen in front of my house Tuesday night, so I was actually going to see this on Wednesday. I asked several people, matter of fact, and they all said no, or they were busy, or they didn't like the first one, or they heard the first one was bad, or this or that or the other, which turned out to me sitting at home and gonna go by myself, and then I couldn't go anywhere, and yeah, so that's life. But I think that plays into this movie, and it worked because I saw it this morning, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was tons of fun. It distracted me from my personal problems. And I had a blast, especially towards the end once the climax came.
What'd you think of the first one?
First one, my memory's not that fond, but it's also not that clear either. It's like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I saw it with a girl who I was interested in at the time, and so that kind of makes it, tinted a certain way. But I just remember it was really dramatic when it didn't have to be, and Soderbergh, he was kind of a weird choice for his director. It reminded me a lot of The Girlfriend Experience. It was like having this risque kind of subject matter with people that don't seem like the real actors, but it's okay because it plays into what's going on.
Kind of remember it being sold out more as a bit of a romp.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's gonna be a fun party movie,
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
this
it was more,
is.
and it was more like, well, the first one, it was more like something kind of like Boogie Nights, where instead of the porn industry, you kind of got this very formulaic, dramatic story that gives you a little glimpse into that world. But it is an accessible way to look into that world, and for me, it worked. It wasn't very memorable. I can't really remember anything about the movie, but I was
one thing about
invested
that.
in Channing Tatum's in his character and what he was trying to do. He was trying to save up money for his business, and
That's
it's
where
a
it
familiar
starts.
plot line, but it worked.
The only thing I remember from the first film was the Big Dick Richie cock pumping scene. That's seriously the only thing I remember. I remember Joe Manganiello and that dildo on screen. That got like a big applause from the audience. That and Matthew McConaughey.
No, for me, I can't remember anything. This, including Channing Tatum, the original cast is back, right?
Yeah, well, almost everyone's back besides McConaughey.
I don't remember who any of them were in the first movie. So to me, it was basically like a blank slate. I was like, okay, I guess they were there, but I'm sorry, I didn't remember them.
I mean, that's not a problem though. That's kind of
No,
what's going for. Because I missed probably like the first 3 minutes of this film, but I don't think I missed anything. It was
no.
Channing Tatum
Yeah,
like
just him
just
working.
on a truck. Yeah, I was like, because I in my head I was like, oh, I'm late. I pictured it starting with a dance number just in the same way the first one did. But then based on the story and the structure and how it starts, I was like, oh nope, that definitely didn't happen. Which was nice.
So you had fun with this one?
Oh, I had lots of fun. I really enjoyed it.
I
I
thought it was worse.
Yeah, you're not alone on that. That
I
seems to
mean,
be the
no,
consensus on
like
the internet.
I think here's the thing: is what this movie carries from the first one is it has that same style. It's got that same tone. It's very naturalistic. It didn't feel like a romp to me at all. It was just okay. These dudes, they just go on a road trip, and that's it. There's really no narrative here. It's just a reunion movie. They don't really have problems that are that big. It's just basic life problems. Oh, my business is struggling a little bit, but I'll be fine. They're all going to be fine at the end of this movie. No one is going through anything at all.
Is that a problem though? I mean,
I mean,
like
it's
for
not a
this
problem.
kind
I
of
mean,
film.
for me, I didn't have any gateway really into it. Like, okay, one of my favorite movies of all time is Dazed and Confused, right? And that is just a hangout movie. It's just characters hanging out. But at least there is a gateway in there for me. I was in high school at the time, and I did a lot of the same
The
stuff
stakes
that
are
they did.
higher.
Yeah, that too. But
When you have the summer of 1976, very time sensitive. It is 4th of July weekend. Uh, you know, 40 years ago in history, basically, is Days Confused. Uh, you have the coming of age stuff. You have this special holiday in our country. You got a lot of things going on,
yeah, it's
and
summer.
it's an ensemble.
My point is though
Um,
is that that's a it's basically a hangout movie. There isn't any plot whatsoever. There are some. I mean, yeah, there actually no Dazed and Confused. There are character arcs in there.
yeah, there's a
Magic
lot of them. It's
Mike,
a good
not
amount.
really. And once it just ends, that's it. It's just over. The only thing that can count as narrative tension is Channing Tatum gonna make Amber Heard smile at the end? That's it.
Maybe,
That's kind
but
of
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't invested in that. I went into this with two expectations. I wanted to have a good time and I wanted to see good dancing, and both of those things were met. I had a great time, and that final dance sequence, in my opinion, was amazing.
No, the one with the mirrors.
Yeah, with the mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would
No,
put it
that
up
actually
there
was cool.
as my favorite climax this summer, second to Mad Max.
Wow, that far.
Yeah.
I really wasn't that impressed with it. I kind of I mean, it carries over that like very naturalistic style, which is, it's nice. That feels more like a Soderbergh touch. I can't. Who's the guy that directed this?
I don't know. I think they have any other
Yeah,
work.
it's just I don't know. It's someone. Even though it feels like it could have been Steven Soderbergh
It could have been
directing it again.
Soderbergh.
I
Yeah.
thought Channing Tatum was supposed to do it. I thought I heard
No,
about that a while back.
he wrote the screenplay this time around, I believe, or co-wrote it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Well,
I'm
either
sure
way,
you know.
he is creatively
Yeah,
involved.
he
'Cause
is.
the first movie was loosely based on his life experience.
Yeah, and this one is somewhat still because he is the inspiration for the Magic Mike character. That's what I like though. The first film, it was about Alex Pettifer. I think that's the guy's name, something like that.
Pettifer.
Pettifer, who's also in the Informers with Amber Heard. And so yeah, it was about him. And then Magic Mike was like, this guy off on the side, some mad master of stripping. And then this one, it's like, oh, well, it's actually about Channing Tatum. That's the guy I cared about last time. I cared about this cast of characters. So I liked that change of pace. I liked that it was, in your words, a romp. I thought it was a great summer film. Yeah, no, there definitely wasn't any drama. There's no character stakes to get involved in. There's no round characters. There's nothing going on. It was strictly a road trip movie, or if you want to get more literal, a road strip movie.
That works too.
Works. And for the audience, when you think about it, this is mostly either single or married women and gays. I think the audience is gonna love it.
I mean, I don't, I was in the theater alone, so I really wish that I had that audience
Exactly.
experience just so I could see how people were reacting to it that were actually enjoying it.
See, if you saw it
But
with me, you would have heard laughing throughout like half the thing. Like,
yeah, see, I didn't really feel like it was a romp. I was kind of bored, and it was really dragging on after a while.
yeah, it was pretty long.
I don't know if I want to. I know that the style is supposed to be naturalistic, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I was just too tired and just too disinterested to really follow what was going on.
Well, I mean, you didn't really want to see this in the first place, so that probably had something to
No,
do with
no.
it.
But I'm a trooper. You wanted to review it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. And
Uh,
hey, I'm comfortable with myself. I'm not
There you go.
intimidating at all by what's happening. Maybe.
In my defense, I like dance films. I danced in high school, took some classes in college, like did like high school dance shows. Like I was in those, even in middle school, matter of fact. And so dancing's a big part of my life. And so I watch dance movies. So I'm one of those rare people. Like I've seen every Step Up film, which Channing Tatum, that's kind of where his career started. He was in the first Step Up film in 2006. Um, and it was like that, and that year he was also in She's the Man and a couple other things, and since then, blah, 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 and obviously now he's one of the it men in Hollywood along with Chris Pratt. Sadly, Jupiter Ascending didn't do so well, but he's like in Gambit next year and a thousand other things, 21 Jump Street. And he's expanded his range. Like in this one, he's not that funny, but, from a triple threat standpoint, like he can obviously dance, he can act, he's funny, he can do the drama. And I think this is a good genre flick for him.
Yeah, going back to what you said about dance films. I mean, I dig them too. I mean, I think
it's a dying breed.
Dance films are you just kind of associate that kind of thing as it being a chick thing, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's different. I think it's just fascinating to see what the human body is capable of, and someone being able to do something that I'm not capable of doing myself whatsoever. And I do think that's impressive. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like the Step Up series, there are a lot of really nice numbers in there. It's not so much about plot; it's just about seeing what people can do, and it is very impressive. Like, I mean, it's basically like stunt work.
The
it's
first
like watching
Step
people
Up
do stunts,
film,
yeah.
there actually is a story, and I think it's fairly good for the teen romance dance movie. Like, I think it's good. And the
I
other
didn't
ones
see the
are,
first one, but I'm willing to bet it's something generic, right?
yeah, it's generic. It's supposed to be generic,
Which
but
they all are. I mean, I only saw the third one, and that was
that one's
the
good.
whole Save the Rec Center
Yeah,
plotline. Yeah, and
with
that one's
Moose.
fun in 3D too.
Yeah, that one's good. I didn't get to see it in 3D. But yeah, 4 and 5 are both not that great. Yeah, any dance movie, I just want to watch it. And yeah, it's the same argument. It's stunt work. But then I also like rom-coms, and dancing movies usually aren't that. It's more of a dramatic stuff.
I don't think that this movie's bad at all, but the way that they've been marketing this movie, you have seen the trailer, right?
Yeah,
and it just starts out with like, we tried to resist showing you the best parts of the movie, but it was too hard. Yeah,
you kind of have to do that for this movie.
That's pretty much what happened, though.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the initial trailer months and months ago, and I avoided the rest of them for a reason, because I knew I wanted to see it anyway. I mean, I'm the odd man out, literally. There's not many single straight men that saw this solo. Like, we're definitely outside of the norm here.
I did it for you, bro.
Thank you. And I think that's really weird. It's because this film and these type of films, they carry this stigma. Yes, it's about male strippers, or if you want to use their own terminology in the film, male entertainers. But why is this quote unquote a women's film or a gay film? And why is that a bad thing?
You know what I found? I'm remembering this now, but one thing that was much more interesting, it was definitely explored in the first film, was why they do what they do.
It's much bigger here.
And it is about money, but they actually enjoy it, and here you definitely get more of that,
which is what I liked.
But you get a nice little scene with Donald Glover, saying why he does it, and that even if he hits it big, he might still want to do it on the side.
I liked, without getting too spoilerific here, I like the third act when they start, or it's actually the second and third act, when they start talking about breaking free from stripping cliches, and they like expanding and finding your own voice. Yeah, like I really like that, especially in the context of the stripping industry, especially with like some of the franchise adaptation stuff they do towards the end. Like I thought it was pretty cutesy. It was real campy, but I liked it.
It was funny that they also came up with their own new moves within the span of 5 minutes in a hotel lobby.
It's a movie. There was a
Yeah,
montage.
no, it's a movie. I got a kick out of seeing
There was
that.
a montage. They could have done it. Even Rocky had a montage. But yeah, I don't understand why there's this stigma for this film. It's only really this film because there aren't many others that fit this category. Like I get that it's men on screen shirtless doing things, but there's no more nudity in this than in a cologne ad or the Expendables. Like it's just guys in good shape with their shirts off.
I honestly don't see what the big deal is. I mean, obviously as a society we're okay with women being objectified in film,
Yeah.
and when it's guys, people tend to have a problem with that.
Yeah,
Or at least more so when it's very direct. Like, when people are watching Thor, no one's got a problem when he's got his shirt off.
But I mean,
Like,
men.
I don't hear any guys bitching about that. It's like, okay, leave that there for the ladies.
you-
When it's a movie specifically about that, though, then that's when they get very...
It's like an equal rights issue. No one cares about the male gaze, but it's like, oh well, the female gaze or the homo gaze. There's something wrong about that.
Even then, like, what's gay about Magic Mike?
I don't think there's
really,
anything
yeah.
gay about it, but that
No.
it is advertised as a gay film, and the film itself and the players in it, they're helping highlight that. I don't know if you saw this, but at the Gay Pride LA festival, or not festival, the Gay Pride parade in LA, Channing Tatum and Matt Bomer, who is an out gay man, were on a Magic Mike float performing dance moves for people. There's vines online and pictures, and it's hilarious. Apparently, Channing Tatum came up with this himself for advertising, and it's great. But yeah, there's a great, so like they know what their audience is,
Yeah, definitely.
and they're trying to get that gay angle out there to get more money. But there was that's kind of the extent of the connection to the LGBTQ community, besides a brief appearance by a drag queen in the movie, and a joke that kind of lasts longer than it should. But yeah, THR has a really good cover story on this right now. It's called Stromo. It's about the straight homo lead. Did you read this?
No, I'm hearing about this from you right now.
Yeah, it was a pretty good read. It was talking about like the shift in the last couple years where it's become like chic or like in vogue for straight leading men to either play gay characters or go beyond metrosexual and kind of exhibit more feminine characteristics. Like there was a couple examples, but I can't think of any off the tip of my tongue. But it's funny how far things have come from Brokeback.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like 10 years ago, everyone was against a film that had even the slightest gay romance. And now, not only do you have a movie about male strippers, but you have a sequel. So it still has that stigma, but I think, especially, with the Supreme Court's ruling not too long ago, I think it's not going to, hopefully it's not too many years until this is just seen as a film and not something,
I mean,
oh,
yeah,
you're
I
seeing
hope so.
that?
Like, I mean, it's like when I hear about all this, I kind of shut down immediately because I don't care. And it's not really me, like, just not caring about the issue. It's just that I get annoyed because I'm like, it's 2015. For fuck's sake, get over it already. Like, I'm just more annoyed that this stuff is not normalized yet so that we can just move on. But no, it's clearly going to take a lot of people longer to get adjusted to that.
I was selling tickets today, and any woman or group of ladies that came to the box office, I tried to, when you're working in the theater, you try to guess what they're seeing. I pushed this movie real hard. I wanted people to see it, and so if they were seeing it, it was fun. Like I was taking the singles out of the register and like, oh, you might need some of these in the auditorium or whatever, having a real good time. And then if I recommended for someone and that's not what they were into, like they kind of got offended a little bit, like, oh no, I'm seeing Inside Out or whatever. Or you see, if I saw a couple, it was like, oh, you can't get them to see Magic Mike, and it was like, no, I'm not into that. It was really weird. But yeah, you have this film, and then on like the opposite side of the spectrum, you have Showgirls. And I have nothing against Showgirls. I really enjoy it. It's very bizarre, very interesting Paul Verhoeven
And I
movie.
still need to see it.
You definitely need to see it. It was the reason.
It's on the list of shame, yeah.
It's basically the reason the NC-17 rating died in America. And that's full frontal nudity with no body doubles, like stupid, dumb sex scenes. But there's like tits throughout that whole movie. Like that's part of the appeal. That's the title, and it's about regular strippers. Not male strippers, just strippers. And I'm sure if that film was out today, that men would flock to the theater to go see it.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
they'd be proud to see it. So, in closing, I really like this film.
You will buy it for not just $1. You'll bring a whole roll of dollars, huh?
I would make it rain for this film. It's definitely worth coming to, if only for the climax zing. But yeah, no, it's a lightweight dance flick with great players and a fun summer story. It's perfect for 4th of July weekend. It ends with fireworks in Myrtle Beach. I had a great time. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I want to take my stepmom. I really wish that I had the chance to go see it with her before she went on vacation. I would buy this for $1.
Well, for me, I'm not really the audience for this movie. There's a lot of pretty decent dance scenes that I thought were, that I was impressed by.
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
choreography
okay,
was
cool,
really good.
I can't do that. There's a moment that I laughed at pretty hard that took place in a gas station specifically.
Yeah, oh yeah, that scene was very, very
That
good.
was hilarious, yeah. I should have mentioned this. I have not seen 50 Shades of Grey.
You don't have to.
But there is a moment that's very much like that where they play Nine Inch Nails Closer,
which was amazing.
Which was pretty traumatizing for me. Like I thought
I
don't think I can listen to that song the same way.
I thought they used the song pretty well. I mean, I'm sure Trent Reznor didn't picture that scene in his head. I'm sure even in his tight ass, if he saw the film, he'd probably get a good laugh.
That song's been used so many times in movies, but now, I think that's the definitive one.
Right?
Like when I hear that song and I think of a movie, that's going to be it.
So
thank you, Magic Mike, for that.
Those final like 20 minutes of the film just so fucking good. It's worth the price of admission for the last 20 minutes.
You know what? It's really narratively, it's just an unnecessary sequel. The characters don't go anywhere new. It's just a short reunion and that's it. So unless you love these characters to begin with, then there's no reason you won't really be invested in them. But, look, this movie's for the people that just want to watch them, hump and grind faces, and that's...
I'm one of those people.
Hey, if that's for you, then by all means go. I mean, there is an audience for this movie. I'm not it. I'm just going to stick with Michael Bay explosions, and I'll be happy, but...
Explosions on the screen is one thing, but explosions on faces isn't.
Well, hey, for the audience that wants to see this, go ahead and bring a pack of ones with you.
Definitely.
You'll be happy.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. I hope it's been a pleasure. If you enjoyed it, you can find updates and when episodes go live on Facebook and Twitter at Dollar Reviews. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis, that's BryonGillis, and also under the same name on the lovely site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary, where I rate the films I watch on an almost daily basis, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at S_MTX, and also follow my film diary at letterboxd.com. My username is also S_MTX. There I log everything I watch and sometimes write brief reviews.
If you loved what we said, you'd like to contribute some talking points, or you just want to laugh at us and send us hate mail, you can do so at dollar.review@gmail.com.
And since we don't know where you're listening from, you can find our recent reviews on iTunes by searching Dollar Reviews. We're also on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/dollarreviews. And if you're sad that you missed a review and you can't find it on either of those platforms, you can find our entire archive at youtube.com/dollarreview. Once again, that's dollar review, one word without the S.
Until next time, keep the change.